Do you guys want to talk about Dan
Yeah.
Bongino?
Yep. Yeah. Let's talk
Enough
about it.
about Jeremy.
You lead the show today because I might dip out because
Okay,
I'm
because you did
very
text me,
tired.
I'll pop in, and I was thinking like,
And I've just been
okay, so I
taking over a
guess
half hour here. Yeah, go on, yeah.
no, it's okay. Probably everyone in chat already knows this, but Dan Bongino has been named Deputy Director of the FBI. This is Trump's statement from Truth Social. Great news for law enforcement and American justice. Dan Bongino, a man of incredible love and passion for our country, has just been named the next Deputy Director of the FBI by the man who will be the best director ever, Kash Patel. Obviously, I feel like anyone who uses Rumble knows a lot about Dan Bongino. Were you guys expecting this? I wasn't.
No, I didn't even know he was in the running or interested. I'm going to be very selfish and petty and say that I'm bummed about this. I was hoping he would still do his show, but it doesn't sound like he's going to. I didn't watch a stream this morning. Maybe somebody can correct me. I guess it would be a bad look for him to be like live streaming as the, deputy director of the FBI. I think
Wouldn't it be funny though if he was live streaming from his office? Like, not good, but very modern times.
It would definitely be in character too. I love how the liberal media is like, well, he has no FBI experience. We were promised somebody in Intel.
Oh, right. He was in the Secret Service.
Secret Service. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Well, they're saying they don't respect the Secret Service, which I think a lot of people don't after July,
Yeah, I have my questions about them. That's for sure. Yeah, the FBI one was weird to me. If you were going to do anything, why not the Secret Service? I'll at least say that. But I do think Dan Bongino is a trustworthy man who is loyal to Donald Trump. And Trump really seems to be heck bent on surrounding himself with people who do that or who are that. And this seems to be a hard lesson learned from 2016 term.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting to pick someone who's such a public facing profile. I mean, obviously during his first run and off and on, Trump's been criticized for his own background on reality TV. And that was sort of one of the criticisms of Pete Hegseth, even though he has a military experience. His more recent time in his career has been as a broadcaster, which I don't think that's actually a disqualification.
They tried to say that, oh, he pegs another Fox News host, or that's like, there's a lot of people who, the same networks have retired generals come on there all the time.
They only like it to flow one way. If you're a retired general, you can go on TV. But if you have a military background and you go on TV, you can't then go back to the government. Like, where did this rule come from?
Yeah.
And this rule is never applied to liberal administrations or anything like that. You can have someone who's terribly unqualified, and like Pete Buttigieg, his qualifications are he was a mayor once.
He got a train ran on him.
Yeah, he knows how to run a train.
Yeah,
those were his qualifications. Well, where was the liberal media outrage over that? The legacy media never said jack shit about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, we weren't allowed to attack him because of his other qualifications, meaning that he was
gay,
openly gay, and I guess at one point had children via surrogate. I mean,
shout out the OpenAI guy for buying another baby. 2 gays bought another male baby. What a coincidence! I'm sure they're just out of girls. Sorry.
Is that like the big box store they go to?
Yeah, that's a hot button issue for me. And again, a lot of conservatives in the comment section there talking about how great it is that he, Anyway, sorry.
It's funny. There was a great 90s movie called The Mommy Market. Apparently, for some couples, it's more like the little boy market.
Yeah, right. Particularly gay men. I don't know why that is. I'm not even going to venture a guess. Maybe chat knows why literally gay men exclusively adopt baby boys. I don't know. Anna Claire has her opinions, but I'm not co-signing them.
Yeah, if we talk about it too much, then you have a problem on YouTube.
I knew a gay couple. I guess this is, I don't know, over a decade ago at this point, who were trying to adopt from Eastern Europe, and they're the person
they got told no, probably.
They got told you are not allowed to have a little girl. We will only give you.
Oh, that's common though, for not just gay people, but just for adoption.
Also interesting because in that case, you would think giving I don't know. I don't want to make any
I know what
assumptions,
you
but
mean.
like
I know what you mean.
it
Yeah.
just I don't think it was the protection that the agency thought it was. Not that you should, of course, you should be protecting these like children being adopted, especially
Yeah.
internationally, et cetera, et cetera. But it seems like our modern culture is creating all kinds of modern ethical issues. But that being said, Dan Bongino is neither a surrogate nor an adopted child from Europe. Are
Yes.
you guys expecting any sort of conflict between him and Kash Patel, or
No.
you think they'll
No.
work pretty
Yeah.
well together?
They seem
Dan
pretty well
Bongino,
aligned, at least what they've said publicly. And Cash is in charge.
yeah,
And Dan Bongino is familiar with kind of like chain of command kind of stuff.
yeah,
So I think, yeah, if anything, my dark horse is that he's going to miss doing a show. Like
yeah.
he's going back to the not just the private sector, but bureaucracy, insanity. He may not like that grind. He's been out of that grind for a while.
But think about how much more show content for the future he'll have
Yeah.
after a few years as deputy FBI director.
Right.
Yeah.
He's going. I think that he'll actually enjoy it, and he is one hell of an attack dog too. So he's sort of what you need there. And with Patel, in association, this is about the best possible scenario we can have.
I wonder if it's strategic too, because it'll allow Patel, who does well in interviews and everything, but for him to focus more on dealing with the internal communication, whereas Bongino can kind of represent the agency externally. Dan Bongino put up this statement saying, "I've spent my life in public service, beginning with the NYPD and continuing through my time as a Secret Service agent, working under both Republican and Democratic administrations. I've witnessed firsthand the dedication and sacrifice of the men and women in these agencies who serve with integrity and honor." And then he also said this role is not about politics. It's about professionalism, leadership, and accountability. Bongino brings a diverse body of experience from his years protecting American presidents, investigating national security threats, and working in the trenches of law enforcement. His focus is on supporting the good men and women in the FBI who remain committed to the mission. Do you think a lot of the challenge right now is rehabilitating the FBI's reputation?
I don't think it can be particularly rehabilitated. I think that'd be I think that'd be very, very difficult. One thing is, there was a quote from Bongino some time ago where he said that the only thing that he cared about was going after the shit libs or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And so the Uniparty must be rather frightened right now.
You know who's the most afraid right now? Ukraine. No, not Fauci, but he probably is not worried. What's his name? Who Bongino and Kash Patel have called out by name. That politician, is he from California? He's like big, no, he's like in the Senate or the he's Schiff, Adam Schiff.
Oh yeah, Shifty Schiff. Oh
yeah, they have both mentioned him by name. Today. Yeah, he's I think he's nervous.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are. And I wonder, like I think we mentioned this at the beginning of the show, but Dan Bongino went live on Rumble today at 11. I at least experienced technical issues on the back end. I think a lot of people are going to go through all of his public facing statements, like all of his videos, and kind of comb through. And if you like him, you're going to be like, wow, that's great. You promised to do this. You're going to do whatever. Kash Patel commented something being like, congratulations, Dan. And the first comment I saw was, you said you'd release the Epstein list. So there are a lot of things that both of them has said publicly that friends or foes might bring to their attention and be like, okay, now do this. Or you said you do that, and that's why you're not qualified. It's unusual.
Bondi mentioned the Epstein list as well.
But Pam Bondi, she said it was on her desk. Yeah. I have a video like locked and loaded for that, but it's like, all right, Pam, you said it was on your desk. So, in that video,
I think that's a warning to the Uniparty. Basically, don't screw around or we're going to really get tough.
Yeah. I don't think that they're actually going to release it I think it's going to, maybe that's a different topic, but I think Dan and Kash, they need some time to work, Dan doesn't have to get confirmed. So it doesn't really matter what the newspapers write about him. And it's really tough to say like, oh, this guy put his life on the line for a Democrat president, Like
What are you going to criticize him for?
Right. So it's going to
Especially
be
since the mainstream liberal progressive media was like, you cannot criticize the FBI after the Trump assassination attempt in
right.
July. Like
Yeah.
they were defending this agency, even when other people were like, it seems like there are obvious bureaucratic issues. It seems like it's not working cohesively. Um,
Mm.
but now Bongino is representing the FBI. I want to bring up this tweet from Chris Pavlovsky, obviously CEO of Rumble, who had a lot of really kind things to say about Dan Bongino. He said, "You helped create the DNA of Rumble, and I can't wait to see how you impact the DNA of the FBI. Myself and the Rumble team will miss you dearly, and when you finish your business at the FBI, we'll be here waiting."
Mm.
It's so obviously when they announced Dan Bongino, my first question was like, so then what happens to his live stream? Like,
Yeah.
do you do it still? It seems like they are temporarily parting ways, no hard feelings on either side. Do you wish that we had this live streamer in the White House, or or I guess federal
Well,
government?
I don't think now I don't have, I have to be so, like I don't have any, just so people know, I have a Rumble contract which is up in June, which is why you should all join. Um but I don't have any insider knowledge of Dan Bongino's contract with Rumble, but I don't believe he is bound to them in the same way that I am. Like he had his own advertising deals that he brought. He had his own like ecosystem that he brought. I think the way that Dan's tied to Rumble is that he's like a literal like mega investor. I think he has like I don't know this, but I think he has like hundreds of thousands of shares. I
Hmm.
think. I don't know that answer, but I think he's like a mega investor. So he himself knows that like, his portfolio is going to take a hit if
Mhm.
hopefully he spends some time like propping up some other channels. That might be not a bad idea.
Well, the thing
Where's
is, I mean, he can still make, broadcasts and Rumble
He could do
one-offs and
once a
stuff like
month,
that.
yeah, or
He
once a
can
week,
he
yeah.
can do whatever he wants in his off time. It's not like he's on call 24/7 as deputy director or anything like that. What I find it funny is that the Trump administration has decided that the deputy director of the FBI would be one of the foremost figures from new tech.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that is fascinating, especially with everything they've done with the White House press corps, right? They are
Yeah.
specifically pushing new media and alternative options. That's very positive if you're independent, the way all three of us are.
Mhm.
I think that Trump prototyped this in his first run when he had Lauren Southern as part of the press corps temporarily.
Yeah.
Mm,
He sort of prototyped the basic idea, and I think that he realized that it worked. And now
yeah.
I think that he's putting it on steroids, and he's completely hauling off at this point, which is a good thing. It's good for the United States. It's good for content creators, those of us who actually have independent voices and aren't beholden to some crazy contract with a multi-billion-dollar news corporation.
Yeah, it's a new day in America in a lot of ways.
It's
The
morning in America again. Exactly.
Mhm.
well, we'll have to see what happens with Dan Bongino and Cash Patel, because I assume they both get to work this week. I mean, Jeremy already said this, but Dan does not have to go through any sort of confirmation hearing. He has the job, I assume,
Yeah.
as long as he's willing to accept it, which he obviously has. Um, I think we should talk to our audience really quickly, who I know have missed the bearded leader
Oh, yeah.
intensely.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure.
on Rumble, Dark Llama Boy says, "So are you officially there me now? What are your pronouns?"
Well, I think that I don't like to label things. I'm pretty fluid when it comes to that. So
How's your wife doing with this?
well, she's pretty understanding as well. She understands it's I'm breaking out of my cocoon into a new wonderful butterfly.